Welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast, your number one opinion source for all things entertainment. Join host Marco Mazzola as he sounds off on the latest movies, TV, music, gaming, comic books, and more. Now, here's the man of the hour, Marco Mazzola.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entertainment Rants Podcast. I'm your host, Marco Mazzola. I'm here again with our co-host, Mila.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about the What If show from Marvel. So we've had one episode so far, and we're going to do short versions of the rant on each episode. So we're going to be spoiling each episode. So if you haven't watched the Captain Carter episode of What If, or the first episode, stop the podcast, go watch that show, and come back. All right? Excellent. All right, Mila, let's get into it. So you just watched the first episode of What If. That's the Captain Carter episode. So first of all, give us your overall thoughts.
I actually, at first I was like, oh, I guess they change a little bit. But they changed a lot, and I actually really liked it. It was actually really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a good variation. Obviously, it's being the multiverse, so everything is infinite possibilities.
Right.
That could have been story told in 1,000 different ways where she still becomes Captain Carter. I liked it. I liked a lot about it. I liked the direction that they took it in.
Yeah.
Obviously, from previews, I knew that she was going to become Captain Carter. I've seen all the promotions and toys and pop figures they already released. So
yeah, I always fly in blind. Whatever's happening, I'm like, I stay away from everything.
So that's a school of thought, right? That's
Yeah.
a great school of thought. You can either go in knowing about it, and some people don't care about spoilers, I know all about it, I just want to enjoy watching it. But some people want to know nothing about it when they go in and just be completely surprised by the entire thing. So that was you today.
Yep. I don't even watch trailers for things. I just go, oh, that looks really cool. I'm going to just not ever look at anything about it except for what it is.
Yeah, that's
then
a great
afterwards,
way to
I'll look at everything and go,
Yeah,
oh, that was
absolutely.
a nice trailer for the show.
Sure, once you've seen it, you go back and see what they've done with it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. So let's start off with the easy stuff. What about the animation style?
I thought the animation was gorgeous. Everything was smooth. The choreography was great. I love how they reused part of the soundtrack from the movie. Mm-hmm. And especially that scene with the 1940s music.
Yes.
While she's doing the little montage of fighting.
Right, the pop music on that. It was really well done. I like the animation. In the past, I have not been a massive fan of the Marvel animation shows.
Yeah.
I just thought their animation was a little too CG and didn't look really well. I'm a huge fan of the DC animated.
Yeah.
So in my views, my life, I love the Marvel movies, but not their animation. I like the DC animation and not wildly crazy about the new movie. So it's both best of both worlds.
That's a good point there.
This brought me around to the Marvel animation, which obviously had a lot of Disney touch to it. Now that they're under Disney and the animation's going to go through somewhat of the Disney feel. When she cracks the giant, Hydra agent, the really big guy who's cracking his neck, and she breaks his leg and then hits him in the head. He goes that oof, with his eyeballs and the water, the spit coming out of his mouth. That was super Disney.
That was glaringly oh wow, that's a little.
There's a touch. There was definitely a Disney touch to it, which I appreciated. I definitely appreciated that. It definitely had a nice feel to it. So it definitely had a serious side to the show, and then some fun, lighter, not just the relationship, but the comical, when she's punching him out and things like that. A lot of fun.
It had a lot of different tones to it that were all a very good mix.
Yeah, and I agree. The animation was pretty stellar, pretty fluid, and gorgeous. Obviously a lot of heavy CG on that.
Yeah, because a lot of the times it's very iffy when CGI is involved, especially CGI as a main animation.
Yeah.
Because I've seen a few shows that use CGI animation, and most of the time it irks me. I just go, did you really need to do that? Yeah. But this one, it was one of the ones that was done really well.
And I think most animation now is done in the computer, right? It's the art form of drawing, panel by panel is pretty much over. Disney movies are all done that way. I think there was something recent that kind of redid it just for a one-off.
Yeah.
It's mostly done on the computer,
And
but
it's
a lot
fair.
of it is. But
It's
most of
very
it,
time
a lot of it
consuming.
doesn't look necessarily like the characters. Still look almost hand drawn. These characters definitely look like they're computer animated. These smoothness and the gradients are something that are harder to do, even when you're painting it or hand drawing. It's definitely easier to to complete inside of a computer. But then, like you said, some of it is definitely it looks too much like it's done in a computer.
Yeah.
And this looked a lot smoother. So,
Yes.
I agree. I love the animation on this one. Now, what did you think, Captain Carter? I mean, phenomenal, huge. Strong, great character. Give me your thoughts.
I thought it was really I just thought it was cool. I just thought it was really cool because like when I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I wonder what's gonna be the twist, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my god, no way, Agent Carter is gonna be the super soldier, and then it was like, and they handled it well, with like bringing up good points about, especially like being a female in that time, like during World War II, and they did it well. Like, hey, this is what it was about, but they also didn't like retract from the show too much and point too much,
right?
Because they still focused on her as a character and the superhero part of it.
Agreed. It was a
very good balance.
It wasn't just woman hear me roar, which is fine. That definitely has its place. And they touched on that, which is good. They need to breaking through, especially in that time period, but even today, breaking through that women can't be soldiers nonsense, right? Like she definitely showed them like, yes, she can. You know what I mean? But even without the super soldier serum in previous Marvel stuff that Peggy Carter's been in, I don't know if you ever watched Peggy Carter. It's phenomenal. And she's like
so good. I'm so
the badass just all on her own. It's just we'll have to do that. We'll have to go through the whole. I have to rewatch it, and we'll do an episode on just that. But I definitely dug it. The suit was incredible. I loved her costume.
Oh my god, I loved the suit.
You made mention you loved the costume.
Yeah. That was good. That was so good.
Yeah, it was a great adaptation, obviously, of the Captain America to the British Captain.
Yeah. And I was actually very much expecting like one of those like skin tight suits.
Nope.
But they didn't. I was like, oh wow, that like actually looks really good.
Yeah, it definitely looked more real, realistic in a comic book sense, but realistic in a actual fighting suit, just like Captain America's did in the original movie. So I like that. British. I thought that was well done. The ending, not that I want to skip the whole thing, but the ending with the octopus type tentacle creature, I thought was a little out of left field.
Yeah, it was definitely out of left field. That's what I thought. Like thinking back on it, I just thought it was very like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess she had to be like put somewhere somehow for 7 years.
Right, there had to be
they had to do
you had
something.
to up the level, you had to up the ante, you had to be something of a threat for her to defend against. I'm just surprised more than it wasn't a Shatari type of one of their creatures, since that was what like, Loki brings in, and that's what they were kind of hinting
Cthulhu.
towards. Yeah, that Red Skull was trying to bring in somebody to annihilate from across the galaxy. I thought it might just be a Shatari callback, and that's like their first introduction into our world. But so it was surprising.
No, it's just
but
Cthulhu.
At the end of the day, she took care of him, which was great.
Yeah, and I actually found it kind of amusing that like Red Skull just got crushed by his own doing. Mm-hmm. Like, he was like, oh, I did it! I brought something into this world. And then he just kind of the squid takes him, just crushes him, keeps going. Absolutely.
And what did you think of the, they kept to the original story, right, when they were getting on the train, but this time it's Steve Rogers that gets taken out, not Bucky.
Yeah.
Right. So he obviously doesn't become the Winter Soldier.
I think not including a Winter Soldier was a very, very good play, because that could have easily gotten a little too messy and a little too much to handle.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, but what about this? And what about that? And it's like,
and it doesn't play as well, because the main focus is not Steve and his relationship with Bucky, and Carter doesn't really have any relationship with Bucky necessarily, so there's no loss there when you lose him. She had a loss with Steve, who she thought was dead, and obviously he has the Hydra Stomper, so he comes back. Our first quasi Iron Man costume.
Yeah, before Tony Stark makes the one that looks very similar in a cave.
Right, exactly. So I thought that was a great play to kind of introduce, like, here's your first version of Iron Man. Even his dad had this idea. Yeah. Maybe that's where he got it from.
Yeah, now there could be some inspiration.
Right. How do you create this? So I thought that was cool on that. What else? What were your other high points that you thought of the show?
Ooh, what are some high points? I don't know. I think one of the highest points for me was the fight scenes. They were just so well done. Everything connected. Everything had a reason for moving in the way that it did, not just like random like punches and then like people, like just people around just kind of standing there waiting to get like their hit in.
Yeah.
It was very well done with that.
So here's the question then. She's an agent. Was she a field person? What kind of hand-to-hand combat does she have? So, and this was the same question I had when it was Captain America in the movies. You know, how long had he been a soldier and how long did he get to before he's out in the field, whipping the shield around, punching people out left, right, and center. Like, she had some serious moves.
Yeah.
She wasn't just like boxing, punchy, fighty. Yeah. She's flipping and kicking and round kicking and, bouncing the shield. So the tricks with the shield and combined with the fighting seemed like you had to practice that for a while.
Yeah.
But she didn't have any practice time.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to kind of suspend that disbelief with Captain America and
there
with
is
cards
that,
like, hey, I got big, I got the serum, all of a sudden
hey, I got super strong. Now I know how to fight
right. You're just super strong. Doesn't mean you actually know how to fight like that. So that was kind of interesting. Obviously, just being a half-hour show, you can't go into a whole long learn how to fight montage.
Yeah.
You have 2 seconds, like, punching the bag and throwing the weights around.
Although something you can just hope for is like, well, she's an agent. Maybe she had some training beforehand. And then it's just upped it a lot.
Definitely. Now, let's talk about voice acting. I know a lot of people from the original movies came in. Not everybody, but a lot of people from the original movies came in. Obviously, it was, the same person. It was Haley Atwell, who did Captain Carter.
Yeah.
You saw Nick Fury in there by Samuel L. Jackson. Jeremy Renner played in it, as well as Sebastian Stan.
His total of like 3 lines.
Yeah, a total of 3 lines.
Words,
Sebastian
really.
Stan was in there, who did Bucky. Dum Dum Dugan's character, he was the same actor as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the same guy. They got him back, whose name is escaping me right now, but I know him. He's been in everything.
The guy.
Yeah, he's great. I don't know if you ever watched Legends of Tomorrow and all that stuff. And he is... and also he was on Arrow.
Was it Damien Dark?
Yeah, Damien Dark. It's the same guy. So same actor. As well as... so he's Samuel Jackson. And, so the Red Skull. That's what we were talking about, right? So it's not... the guy who played him originally, right? It's Ross Marquand from Walking Dead, who is an incredible, comedian, and he's just really funny if you ever watch him, and he does the voice perfectly. And so he took over the role for Infinity War in Endgame.
Yeah. And I was shocked to hear
it's actually him.
Yeah.
They just made him to look like, and because he, the original actor didn't want to do it anymore. Yeah. So he come over and took over the role. So he's the one who did the voice for this as well.
And he did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
He did
Sounds just like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It is really cool.
I loved the voice acting, and I always appreciate when they bring back actors. Yep. Or even just their voices.
Yeah, exactly. I wish it was more. I wish, Chris Evans was able to do Captain America. Well, not Steve Rogers, excuse me. Yeah. He was able to do Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
There was a few of them that were missing, but overall, you had a good
and
cast.
It wasn't like too far off. It was like it didn't really. It was good, and it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. I like the voice acting on it. So what are your overall impressions now of What If? You hadn't really known much about What If before this?
I had vaguely heard about it around, but it wasn't too like in my face around as like Falcon and Winter Soldier or like WandaVision were. Yeah, because I have a friend of mine who's very, very big into like following Marvel, and I think she might have mentioned it, but now it seems very familiar, and I think it's actually a fascinating idea.
It is. The comics have been around forever. Like the comics have been around for a long time. They've done What If comics for so long, which is such an intriguing way. It's basically a way to write stories that you can't keep in your main timeline.
Yeah.
But you want to write what if Uncle Ben didn't die? What happens to Peter Parker? Things like that. Things that they always want to explore, but you can't write into your main line because it throws off the story. So they just created What If.
Yeah.
I think it's an intriguing way. So I'm looking forward to the next episodes. I think I want to say there's 10 altogether, but I could be wrong. It might be 8 to 10 different in the series.
That
They're releasing every
the
Wednesday.
They usually go for.
Yeah, a nice short season, but there most likely will be more seasons of it. And it's downloading on or streaming on Disney Plus. So if you don't have that, you should get it. It's fantastic. I'm looking forward to some of the other episodes. I want to say the next one might be the T'Challa episode where he becomes again spoilers. He becomes the Chris Pratt's character. He actually becomes Star-Lord. The Ravishers pick him up instead of Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so
he
funny.
becomes Star-Lord instead of Black Panther. So I think that's going to be very intriguing to see that. And it's sad in the way that it was actually Chadwick Boseman's last role that he actually did. He actually voiced that before he passed away. So that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And a little sad.
It'll be nice hearing his voice.
It will be nice. You're absolutely right. It'll be nice. He's got an amazing voice. It'll be nice to hear his voice again in at least one more thing. So we'll talk about Black Panther another day. Because there's some news on what they're doing with the next Black Panther 2 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that is interesting. I keep wondering how that's going to go down.
Yeah, they're going to change the character. They're not going to redo T'Challa. They're not going to recast T'Challa. They're going to move it on to somebody else. Because in the comics, Shuri was Black Panther for a while. Like a lot of people have taken up the mantle of Black Panther.
Yeah,
so
in the comics, there's always passing of the mantles every once in a while. So.
Yeah, it's funny. There's definitely that debate. Should they have recast him? Should they not have recast him?
And then there's the godforsaken idea of just CGIing him the whole time.
Right, and that's thank God they're not doing that, because I think that more than anything is that's definitely a travesty and sort of a slap in the face if they just CGI the guy who passed away, unfortunately. Yeah. I'm of the mode, this is just me, probably not a popular opinion, I think they should have recast him. And I think that's something he might have wanted people to do. Like, this character is very important, we need to keep him going, and just because I'm not around, I want him to keep going. Unfortunately, we don't get to ask him that question. Yeah. And I think the only reason they're not recasting is because he passed away. It's sort of an homage, which I get honoring Chadwick Boseman for the role that sort of almost defined him. He's done an amazing body of work, but the role that really defined him to so many people.
Biggest role possibly.
So you don't just recast and pretend that he wasn't there, which is not what they're going to do. So that's where we're at. All right, so What If? The first episode in the bank. We got it done. We watched it. We're going to watch the next one. I know you're going away next week, so we'll record another episode after you and I will watch the next episode together. Yep. And then we'll record another one of these short. So we are doing some shorter episodes. This is a nice short episode just on a single episode of What If, and we'll do more things like this. So again, if you guys have any questions for us, hit us up online at engage@entertainmentrants.com. Send us an email. Let us know what you'd like us to rant on, if there's a particular show you want us to talk about, or just even an episode. And find us on social media everywhere. It's at entertainmentrants.com. On Twitter, we're entertainrants.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to be a guest on the show and talk about something you're passionate about, again, hit us up via email at engage@entertainmentrants.com. Any final words on What If or Captain Carter before we go?
I'm super stoked to see the next episodes because I love alternate universe stuff. It's going to be so awesome.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to rock our socks off. I love it.
Roll.
Rock and roll. All right, Mila. Thank you again. Awesome work today.
You.
And we'll see everybody on the flip side. And go out there and start ranting, everybody.